Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Broads. We are broadcasting live from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. What we have today, well, it's your reactions. That's right. The Anytime Hotline calls the morning following an Eagles game is one of my favorite days because I get to react to you and to how you're feeling about this game from Carson Wentz, the battle that he went through. He was tough as hell, getting hit constantly. I will say I'm a little annoyed because I heard Doug Pederson speak today on WIP, and he was talking about that two-point conversion, and he said he probably should have called a timeout. And then he also talked about how he utilized a lot of his red zone plays there already throughout the game. This marks now the third time he had to come out the next day and double guess himself. And I was okay with it the first time. The first time, it was the Cincinnati Bengals and the punt. And I thought to myself, you know what? The coach woke up the next morning. I'd rather him say, I made a mistake. I should not have punted the football. I should have gave my team a chance to win. I would have been okay with him just saying that so far this year, with him coming the next day saying, I made a mistake. I'm okay with that. I don't need my coaches to be perfect and stand by horrendous decisions just because it looks good that he stood by what he originally thought. Then with the Nate Gerry and Claypool incident, you can't have that play go down. Had to address it in that moment. Didn't. And now here with the two-point conversion. Probably should have called a timeout. Are you seeing a theme that the head coach, a handful of times this season, is now second-guessing himself the day after, probably the night after as well, while he can't fall asleep because he's staring at the damn ceiling? But as a head coach, okay, I can live with it one time. I can. But not three. Now you're talking three. The team's 1-4-1, and the head coach is second-guessing what he should have done every single morning, every single time he speaks the day after a game. He's now questioning his decisions, and he should have done this, and he should have done that. Man, oh man, it's just not a good look, and it's frustrating to hear it from your coach so many damn times. Once again, I can live with it once. I can live with it with the Cincinnati punt. But what that shows me is in-game, when it matters the most, by the way, the day after on the radio, it's not nearly as important than when you're on the sidelines and you actually have to win a damn football game. In-game, he's failing to make the right decisions. Come on, Doug. Come on. Now, the Anytime Hotline was blowing the hell up once again. I love you all. I do. I love you all. When I wake up and I see, boom, all these phone calls, I'm thinking, let's go. Can't wait to have my cup of coffee. Listen to some of the calls. I rewatched the game already. Carson was something else. Just a gamer. Just a full-on gamer. I was pretty tough on him in the first half during my post-game reaction. But you got to remember, that's just the first time I watched the game. Instant reaction, boom, this is how I feel. I was tough on him. He did have that fumble, though, and that fumble flat out can happen even if I don't like the play call. And the offensive line was embarrassing. Brown was embarrassing. But you're stuck with it. The offensive line was atrocious. No one can succeed with the way that offensive line played. It's not rocket science here. That offensive line results in 0 wins when it comes to the National Football League. It doesn't give the time to anyone. No one has time. You need time to make a play. With that being said, we all know there were some plays left out there on the table. Miles Sanders, John Hightower, Jake Elliott. There were plays. There were definitely plays. All right, let's fire this bad boy off. I'm excited. I can't wait to hear.
Bro, dude, I figured it out. I'm watching the movie Moneyball for the first time, and that's definitely what Howie Roseman does. Tries to pick up the most random people with the most random statistics and thinks it's all going to work when you put it together. but it's just not working right now. Can you trade a GM? Like, we should maybe think about that.
First call, boom, going right after Howie Roseman. And I kind of mentioned this on the post-game show. Look, I'm with you. I'm frustrated with Howie Roseman. By all means, he has not been perfect whatsoever. You can argue that he hasn't even been good whatsoever, especially when you look at the salary cap and how much hell they're going to be and when that's his bread and butter. So, yes, Howie Roseman deserves to be ripped apart. But no team in the NFL can be on their third left tackle, be on their third lineman throughout the entire offensive line and think you're going to win. With Lane Johnson out, you're throwing Jack Driscoll in the mix. He's out. You're having to utilize someone like Brown. He stinks. You're just thrown into these third-string linemen. No team has that depth. No team. Now, with Howie, I'm sure you want to go in other directions with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Davion Taylor in the third round and misses throughout. That's fine. I'm with you. But in terms of this specific game, when you look at this line, no team, no GM can give you 3 linemen at each position on the offensive line and think, okay, well, just in case you get down to this point, we're going to be good. We're going to be able to protect our quarterback. It's just not reality, and it's unfortunate that this is the situation that they're in, and this team is on a whole nother level of injuries. You're hearing Zach Ertz, Miles Sanders going to need some MRIs. Yeah, that's great. This is going to be a nightmare on Thursday. You could possibly see a loss, and I don't want to jump too far ahead. It's going to come real quick here. But damn, this team has fallen apart insanely. Worse than the last 2 years, and we already spoke about how the last 2 years was a joke with the injuries.
That was a terrible game, but I'm not exactly mad. You know, Carson, he does what he does, you know. I will say we have to end this conversation about replacing Carson Wentz. Like, that's over. He's the guy. He's our guy. We've got to admit it in the good times and bad times, you know. Jamon Brown, what the heck was he doing? He got pushed around all day from the first play of the freaking game. It doesn't make any sense, dude. Like, it's frustrating. I know Carson's frustrated. He was running around all day today.
Well, look, he stinks. Brown stinks. And when you get to that part of your roster, it's not like you have many alternatives, and there's a reason why that individual is where they are in the depth chart. That's just reality. In terms of Carson Wentz, it does seem like there's this rotation of fans don't believe in him, things get a little ugly, the media attention gets hot, then he earns his respect by battling hard, he looks unbelievable, he wins with practice squad players, then all those people get sucked in, and it's one big rotation with Carson Wentz on how this fan base normally feels. It's sad for Carson Wentz because I want to see him play with an actual offensive line again. I want to see him play with guys who deserve to be at the top of depth charts in the National Football League, because the last time you saw that, you saw him be unreal. You saw him tear up the National Football League, and if he played with the mentality that he played in this game against the Baltimore Ravens with plenty of legitimate talent, you would see a legitimate quarterback. And he's doing it now with nobodies out there. I want to see him do this with a real roster. You'd be surprised the difference, all right? I can't believe people would be that damn surprised because it's obvious, but you would be surprised. There's only so much you can do when you're this depleted every single damn year. When he has actual talent, I need to see that again. I need to see that version of Carson Wentz. But unfortunately, we haven't had that possibility pop up in years. Damn, it gets me fired up.
I don't understand how someone can blame Carson Wentz for this game. There's definitely going to be many people that blame him for this game whatsoever, but I don't understand how people expect a quarterback to perform when there's this many injuries to the offensive line, where he's getting sacked 6 times during this game. He's getting bullied throughout the entire field, and he is still somehow making plays and keeping this team within the game. I don't understand it at all how the blame can be put on Wentz. There shouldn't be any blame put on Wentz, but Eagles fan base, you definitely know, they just want Wentz out of town at this point. But Wentz was the only reason this team was in the game. Credit also, Baltimore took some bad penalties, but Wentz, that was a gutsy performance by him. Gutsy. And I am here for it. I am definitely here for that. But, there's definitely going to be a lot of people that blame Wentz for this loss.
Definitely, and it's the uneducated football fans that say, oh, I watch Aaron Rodgers, and I watch Tom Brady, and I watch Drew Brees win all these football games because they're the best quarterbacks. Yet, it's just not how it works. There's this fascination with, oh, well, if you're an elite quarterback, you don't need any help around you, and you just win football games on your own. And that's not true. It's not true at all. And if Carson Wentz isn't in the category of Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady, it doesn't mean you're in a bad position as a franchise. Let's be clear. But that is why. That is why people put the blame on Carson Wentz, because they have this fake idea that the quarterback wins you the game no matter what else is out there. If I was out there, Carson Wentz should be demanded to win that football game. And while I think I can hit some players with a double move and get a little Heisman action in there, it's just not reality on how this works. So that is why people feel the way that they do, and everyone always wants option number 2. No one is satisfied. It's always about, well, hold on a second, what else can I get? Or, what is the alternative? It's always about the other option compared to what you already have, and that is also a flawed mindset that a lot of fans seem to have in this city.
Wentz is the GOAT of this team right now. He absolutely put the team on his back. With a beat-up team, a no-name team, I didn't even know half the players on the field after everyone left. He put the team on his back, and they fought back. I love that team. I give him credit for everything they did that game.
All right, give some credit. Wait, you're telling me you don't know who Kroom is? Oh, Kroom! When he was sitting there in the end zone wide open, I don't even know if the Ravens knew who the hell he was. He was standing so wide open. Who the hell is Kroom? Every single game now, it's somebody else. Huh? You know the Snoop Dogg meme or the Snoop Dogg gif? Who? That's exactly what it was. Who? The fact that this is constantly happening, where that is your reaction, yet Carson Wentz battles to put this team in a position for a 2-point conversion that can tie the damn game? That's incredible. People don't do that. Good quarterbacks can do that. Carson Wentz, right there, he put it on display. And even heard Boomer Esiason during the halftime report talking about how he should get life support with the action that's happening with him, with how many sacks he's taken and how many hits he's taken. He should get some life support because you can't succeed when your offensive line is playing that poorly. And guess what? You're right.
Bad for your health. That's what this team is. Bad for your health. My blood pressure felt like it was going to be going through the roof, only to just die on the inside at the end. Doug Pederson, that was easily his worst play call ever. Just when Carson Wentz got his mojo back, I don't know about you, but the whole rumors about Carson Wentz being conspired against, that felt like it.
You're going full-on conspiracy theory, huh? You think the Eagles want him to fail that badly. Yeah, that was a horrendous play call, and Brian Baldinger put down one of his Baldy breakdowns on Twitter, and he even said, from the jump, you can't run this play. The matchup wasn't there. From the original play, when you walked up to the line of scrimmage, you should see that play isn't going to work. And if Doug Pederson talked about, hey, I should be calling a timeout there. That's what he said today, the day after on the radio. Well, how does the head coach not see that in the game? You need to make that sort of adjustment in the game. I don't care about what you say on the radio the next day. It's important to knock it out of the park in the scenario of game time when the clock is ticking, and he failed to do that. There was nobody there to match up on the Ravens players, which both executed the play perfectly on the read option. It should never ever have happened. That was a horrendous play call out of Doug Pederson. I just thought going with a run play like that after you've seen the offensive line play poorly all game, and the fact that Carson Wentz has been throwing the football well to that point, that was helping him get on that big stretch that turned the page for this Eagles team. I don't know how you go for a read option play. It just blows my mind that that is what came up on the play sheet. I made a joke. I tweeted this out, and you can follow me on Twitter at Broads81. I wonder on the play sheet if the title of that call was the worst play call ever, because, damn it, that's exactly what it was. It was a joke.
There's a lot of things I could talk about after this game, but one thing that stands out to me the most is Carson Wentz and his play. He plays his heart out every single week, and the fan base gives him nothing but crap for it. He's the only reason that that game was even close, and I hope he's the quarterback for the next 10 years for the Philadelphia Eagles. Howie Roseman needs to do better. Doug Pederson needs to do better. This team is not a very good team at all.
Now, you're right. This team is, let alone the injuries, playing a huge role in this, and that's not an excuse. It's a reality. They were poorly constructed from the jump as well. And with Carson Wentz, he does deserve a ton of credit for what he does. And I think it's funny, due to the fact that the conversation surrounding him is always injury prone, injury prone, injury prone. Dude, look, if you take hits like this over and over and over again, and you keep getting up, and you keep playing, and you keep looking at the guys around you, and you keep the positivity. You know, you hear about Carson Wentz, he's getting rocked how many times? 16 times. He's still looking at his lineman in the face like, all right, let's do this. Now, clearly he's lying. He's lying right to their faces because that's not reality. You can't do it with this line. But the way that he keeps everyone involved, he looks around in the huddle, and he's like, all right, fellas, we're going to do this. At one point, he had this emotional outbreak towards, I forget the defender, but he made a play, and he, looked at him, and he screamed in his face, like, oh! Like, he gave that attitude, that pumped-up type, attitude after making a big-time play, and you really don't see that out of Carson. That's the emotional reaction coming out in the game. The fired-up Carson Wentz that we love to watch. I was like, damn, Carson, here we go. Here we go. I thought then and there it was over. He got us as close as possible. He did. But I thought that emotional outrage by Carson was, whoa, hold on a second. That gamer mentality was on another level than it already is. And one of the things that I appreciate out of Carson is, early in the year, he had bad games. But it wasn't who he was. The numbers were so horrendously bad, and they were so outside of what his averages were. I didn't expect that to be who he has become, because I've seen a big enough resume where I know Carson Wentz was better than what he was providing you. So take away those handful of games early in the season, and who knows, maybe COVID-19 training camp stuff played a role. No preseason games whatsoever. There was a lot that could have played a factor in why somebody played so poorly in the beginning of this season specifically. Not to make excuses, but I'm just thinking on, okay, why was it so bad and why is it getting better? Well, getting more reps, playing live games. You didn't get anything in the beginning of the season. All the other teams were involved in the same scenario. I'm not saying it was only Carson Wentz, but I'm just trying to think, okay, why was it so bad? Why was that an outlier compared to everything else in his career? But I bring it up because he keeps you engaged. Carson Wentz keeps you involved. And you got to give credit to Doug Pederson. Even though I thought he had some poor play calling in this game, he keeps the team playing, always. And the head coach is a big part of the emotional side of the team and the culture setting. This team continues to play hard for Doug Pederson, even with the poor play calling. With Carson as quarterback, he's always keeping you into it. He's always keeping you in the game. Once again, I'm talking about throwing away the handful of games in the beginning of the season because that doesn't stand true to what he has been throughout the 5 seasons now in his entire career. Players go on bad stretches. That's a bad stretch. That doesn't really factor into who he is totally as a QB. And his attitude and his play, you always feel like you have a chance. And that's what I love about Carson Wentz.
What's going on, bros? Man, look, I'm not even going to call in and be upset and screaming about the game. I mean, Ravens, honestly, they played terribly, and that's really what kept us in this game. But I can't complain the way the Eagles fought back. So I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm just pissed off with Philly sports in general, man. These injuries. When's the last time we had a healthy offensive line? And look, I realize everyone deals with injuries. I mean, I'm talking about years in a row with all Philadelphia franchises. We're just banged up every year. We can't ever have people go in somewhat healthy. Our offensive line has been healthy in years. We're missing our top 4 receivers this year. Like, man, just give me a break at this point. I'm just getting fed up with it, man. But, I'll just keep watching, keep supporting. Again, the game was entertaining. I guess that's the most we can ask for. Foley looks like the truth. I'm excited about that guy. So, anyway, keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Did you go nickname on Fulgham? Did you go Foley? You go a little nickname on him, a little hockey action, huh? What do you think his hockey nickname would be? With the hockey nicknames, you always got to find something with an ER or add an SY to it. I'm trying to think like Hartnell, Hartsey, right? You always got to add the C at the end. And Folsey. I don't know. We'll work on it. With the injuries, I wish I had that information for you, but this team is constantly going through injuries. Do you want to look at the medical team again? I know everyone always reacts to that. Oh, fire everyone, fire the doctors, fire the medical team, fire this, fire that. I don't know, man. I don't know. They just did that. You're telling me they hired a new one and it's all the same thing. I don't know. I mean, it could just honestly be bad luck over the last handful of years. They just did that. They just got rid of people, and they brought new people in, and it's happening again. It could be the nature of the beast of what happened this year with COVID-19 and the lack of training camps and the lack of preparation to the body, mixed with just being unlucky. It's very unfortunate, though. I do know that. It sucks. It sucks because I want to see Carson Wentz with an actual team, with an NFL standard team. And I feel we haven't been able to get that in so long. And when you did, it was the year coming after after his injury, and we might have pushed him back too quickly, and he could have had back problems because of the knee problems, and he didn't get a legit Carson Wentz at that point. Now it's like you're getting a legit Carson Wentz, and all the surrounding pieces are falling apart, and it sucks. Now, I want to let you guys know, because there have been some people reaching out to me, bros, how can I support? What I ended up doing on my YouTube channel, and you can go to my YouTube page, youtube.com/Sports Talk with Broads, and there's a join button there to join the Sports Talk with Broads membership. And there's different tiers, and it's just another way to add a layer of support to Sports Talk with Broads. It's not mandatory by any means, but the option is there because people have reached out to me. And what it is it's sort of like a support system, sort of like with Twitch. You have your subscribers, your Twitch subscriptions. It's very similar to that, where, I'll give you something in return. For example, we can communicate about some podcast ideas. You can send me a video of yourself and I'll implement it throughout my podcast, so it'll be you talking. There's also a monthly Hangout, Google Hangout, or Zoom call of some sort. Check out all the tiers, and the options are there. I just want to throw that out there in case you didn't see the new feature added.
Hey, what's up, bros? So this is actually my first call, so kind of nervous, but first off, with the Eagles, man, it's not looking too good right now, and honestly, it's mainly Howie Roseman's fault. And I think he needs to go. I think a lot of people on the offense and defensive side need to go. And this team just needs a lot of improvement, a lot of things to look at going forward, because it's just not looking good right now.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And with Howie, I don't think Howie goes after this season just knowing his relationship with Jeffrey Lurie. The way I see it, and this is what I would do, and I don't know if this is going against all the fans that are outraged and ready to fire everybody every single damn year after every single game, really. Think about it. The same people that wanted Jim Schwartz fired because of what he did last game, now they want Doug Pederson fired for having a couple bad play calls. On that rate, we'd have a new head coach every single week. And I thought the defense, even though they led up 30 points, I thought the defense played just fine. It's just bad situations. You go, 6 drives in the beginning where you can't move the football at all. It puts your defense in a horrendous situation, and it's tough from there. You turn the football over, they score a touchdown, you're put in tough spots, and based off of personnel, I didn't think that they had a bad performance whatsoever. But when it comes to, making moves, firing Howie Roseman, doing this and that, I think just because they will want to switch something up, they might move on from Jim Schwartz, even though I think it's the wrong decision because he's a good defensive coordinator in this league. You might see that, but with Howie Roseman and Doug Pederson, I think they get one more full year after this because this is the first time that they've had something this pathetic so far here in Philadelphia. And on top of that, they sadly have an excuse of, look at what we worked with. We had a bunch of slop based off of these horrific injuries that happen every single damn week. So whether you want the firing of all these guys or not, I do feel like they have more time than, say, this year. Now, I think changes will be made. I don't know if it'll be to the extreme of a Howie Roseman or a Doug Pederson this offseason.
Hey, Brody. First-time caller, long-time listener.
2 in a row.
Just wanted to call in and say, hey, love the show, calling from Richmond, California. And first thing I want to say is I'm just tired of hearing everybody put the blame on Wentz. They act like Wentz is a one-man team or something. It's always Wentz. My thing is, from watching this game, we're banged up. O-line sucks. I'm finally seeing Devion Taylor, third-round pick, that we could at least got something else. But, Wentz played his ass off. I don't want to hear nothing else about Wentz.
Great point. And if you didn't know, in Philadelphia, there's a lot of irrational fans. And sadly, I think you're hearing a lot of the irrational fans after this game, and after I watched it again for the second time, which hasn't been fun this year. I normally wake up on Sundays, yes, I do wake up on Sundays. I watch the actual game live. But I wake up on Monday mornings and I rewatch the game. I put my feet up. It's a fun time. I enjoy it. It hasn't been that way this year because it's loss, tie, loss. It's not as fun. I'm watching the bad plays over and over again. I'm watching crucial plays where the Eagles fail over and over again. This used to be a fun time for me on Monday mornings, where I would wake up on Monday with a smile on my face knowing that work would be fun. It's not fun when you got to break down this type of slop every single Monday. But in terms of the eyeballs being set on Carson Wentz, he really was magnificent. He really was running away, escaping everybody, chucking balls up to Fulgham. And playmakers made plays in specific moments, like Fulgham, who is a real player. And they needed a real player. With all these misses in certain spots, they needed a guy to really step the hell up. And Fulgham is doing it. And that's why I respect him so much, and I get frustrated with someone like Hightower, who's consistently getting these looks, and he's consistently getting wide open, which is great. In theory, that's great. You got to cash in, dude. You got to cash in on the big moments. And he has failed to do it. He had some poor plays to this point. Not getting out of bounds. This was in a previous game. He didn't get out of bounds right before half, which costed the Eagles points. He missed the touchdown in the back of the end zone in the same game. Now on the first drive of this game, it's 3rd and 22 after Wentz gets hit a couple times. Boom, could have been a big explosive play, misses it. He's getting open, but dude, you got to track the damn football. You just do. While Fulgham's out there making every single damn play, Greg Ward's making plays more times than not. Players are stepping up and making the most of it. Then I see Miles Sanders drop a damn wide open touchdown pass. Unacceptable. Because after that missed touchdown pass, they went for it on 4th and 1. They didn't get it. Turnover on downs. That's the difference in scoring points or not in this league. And guess what? That backfires big time. So with all these injuries we're talking about, and I know scoring here, scoring there, hitting the field goal, Miles Sanders scoring, it changes how the whole entire game is played out. But there were moments, even with this banged-up core.
And J.J. Arcega-Whiteside turning garbage into gold off the feed from Miles Sanders. I'm part of the game, besides, the comeback at the end there. And
Look, I'll stop you right there before we continue. That was good. That was good. Let's listen to that again. That's good.
And J.J. Arcega-Whiteside turning garbage into gold off the feed from Miles Sanders. I'm part of the game. Besides, the comeback at the end there. And 30 minutes after the game, I can't even be mad. There's really nothing to be mad about. I mean, had no business being in the game to begin with. People are going to say, oh, the defense sucks. Well, I mean, you're going to give up some points on the field for the majority of the game. The first half, the offense was not on the field. I mean, they played their hearts out, man. And this is just, once again, the Eagles' 2020 football team.
Yeah, it is. And we have now been brainwashed. Well, maybe that's not a fair way to say it. But our expectations at this point has transformed into be satisfied with effort. Be satisfied with hard work. Be satisfied with grit. And if you want to look at this rationally, based off of personnel, based off the fact that you have players like Kroom out there on the football field, seriously, all jokes aside, someone like Kroom playing and Brown playing right guard and all of this happening, Zach Ertz out, Miles Sanders out, and you need to find ways to move the football in crucial moments of a game against a Baltimore Ravens team who is fantastic and elite defensively with unreal playmakers back there like Humphrey, Smith, Peters. You just got to be okay and accept the fact that even though they don't have the skill level available to really win a lot of games, they're putting everything out there on the table. They are leaving it all out there on the field. Now, some players are just not good enough. And that's what sucks. But that's what you're dealt with, Now, we have a bunch more phone calls to get to. And this is throwing me off this short week because you got to flip the page so quickly. Monday, we normally do the post-game pod Sunday we do the post-game pod. Monday, we do the next day after where we react to your phone calls. Tuesday, we still react to your phone calls. But now, this week, if we do Tuesday, still reacting to a lot more of your phone calls, is it time now to switch flip the switch and move on to the next game? Or are you still in, let's look at what happened on Sunday mode? This week's throwing me off a bit, but there's so many damn calls, I can't fit them all into one podcast where we might still have to reflect a bit and still talk about this game tomorrow because I think that is the way to go. And I make the decisions. So how about we do one more call, and then we'll utilize some of these tomorrow.
Well, I certainly did expect the Eagles to lose, but I didn't expect them to be in until the very end. The reason why we lost this game was simple. Doug Pederson's play calling. And I am referring to, after the first touchdown, him going for 2 there. Now, I'm not saying that I disagree with going for 2. I'm saying that he had the wrong play call in that situation. And ultimately, that came back to bite us in the ass in the very end. Carson Wentz put the team on his back today. The fact that we battled back against the Ravens of all teams is an accomplishment in itself. I think we can build off this game, me personally. I think we can build off of it and take these next 2 division games against the Giants and the Cowboys, and we can run the NFC East from here.
Oh, geez. The optimism is real. Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot. I've been hearing about the division and where the Eagles are right now and who they're playing coming up, and I just can't look that far ahead right now. I just can't look that far ahead and think about, oh, they're going to run the table in the division. They're 1-4-1. I mean, it is one game at a time at this point, and I don't know if it's a given that they're going to be able to beat the Giants. I hate to break it to you, I don't know. Now, they're favorites. They went from double-digit underdogs at home to now favorites against the New York Giants. The New York Giants stink, no doubt about it, but I just don't feel good about this team. You bring up Doug Pederson, and there hasn't been that many thoughts yet on Doug Pederson. A lot of Carson Wentz praise, which is very fair, but when it comes to bashing the head coach for making some boneheaded decisions, I haven't heard that much of Doug Pederson hate, which is kind of surprising. Not only was the 2-point conversion early in the game, initially when it was, 17-0, he went for it. When it was 17-6, they failed to get it. Not only was that something you can question, but he went for it on 4th down a couple touchdowns in his own territory with some clock left. I didn't personally hate it based off of where they were, how many more points they needed. But it is something that you can look at and go, was it worth going for it there? Should you have punted, tried to stop them, and maybe play a field position battle instead of going for it in your own territory, down a couple scores, 4th down? I don't know if I can heavily criticize that one based off of the nature of the game and the flow of the game at that point. You're pretty much saying, like, look, there's barely any time left. We got to find a way to get a first down here and move the sticks. I'm not going to criticize Doug heavily for that one. Ultimately, look, the team was still in position to tie the damn football game with barely any time left. Although you could argue that there was enough time where the Ravens could have moved down the field and had who but the best kicker in football score on a game-winning field goal to break the hearts of the Philadelphia Eagles fans. So that is definitely something that could have happened. All right, we are going to end this podcast here. Once again, there are a ton of phone calls, so if you left your message and did not hear it, I will be implementing these again tomorrow. Even though this is a short week, I will definitely still pump them out. If you want to leave a call, the phone number is 856-442-9805. And also, this episode is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. And with over 20 years of experience in the solar industry, they are home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. They are dedicated to making sure your project is completed easily and properly by using high-quality materials and trained professionals to get the job done right. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. So check out their information. It is all down below. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.